All right, and we're back with part two of the SparkCast. I believe we were talking about Champions Quest being canceled,
Yep.
and now Sparkisodes are the source of
They're
lore.
yeah, they're one way to get lore. We might have other ways in the future where you'll be able to hear more about the lore of Project Spark. We do deeply care about the lore. Really, it was a hard decision to decide to cut Champions Quest, but it was something that we knew we needed to do in order to um, refocus our team's efforts on the creation tools because honestly, the things that we're seeing our community create are getting to the level and above the level of Champions Quest.
Oh, easily.
And so it makes sense for us to instead invest our time in giving you better tools, making it easier for you to make even better creations. And you know, the I think this was pretty well, Rahul pretty well summed this up in his email and his blog post. It's sort of phase like we think of the journey of Project Spark through phases. And phase one was about us inspiring you, and that's the reason why we created content. That's also the reason why we had remember early on in beta we had suspension and rodent rampage and all those other games created by Team Dakota.
Retro Reborn,
Yeah,
Decoderus.
their whole idea behind them was to inspire you to make your own games like that, to show you the breadth of what you can make in Project Spark. And that's what Champions Quest is also hitting on is, all right, let's focus a lot of dev time on making the beginnings of a fully fledged out game to show you that you can make that directly within Project Spark. Crossroads was sort of the way of like, you know, giving the players a nudge forward by showing, hey, you can choose stuff along the way. Wouldn't you like to create even more and more? And so a lot of the early on stuff we did was inspiring you to make great things. And we're getting to the phase two, which we always knew we'd get to, where you guys are now the people inspiring others. You are making content so good that it's inspiring, YouTubers to just play Let's Plays in Project Spark, and it's inspiring you to get media coverage of just great games in Game Project Spark. So our job is now to give you the tools to make that easier, so you can now inspire the world. It's your platform, and that's what phase two is kind of all about. The phase that we're moving into.
Did Phase 2 happen sooner than was expected initially?
Um, Not really.
Because
I think
Champions Quest
maybe
2 was planned for some
right.
time.
Yeah, exactly. It was planned. I think it was the realization that we needed to double down on and not like we realized we couldn't do 20 things at once and do them all really well. We needed to focus on the things that we knew we could do really well, and get rid of the things that could be a distraction from that. And that was Champion's Quest.
And you're not removing Champions Quest from the game, you're just not developing more of it.
Yeah, and actually, because of this news, episode one of Champions Quest has been made free indefinitely, so that you know now anyone can play through at least the first episode. It's not purchasable because we'd feel wrong about having you purchase it without it continuing on. So it's now free for everybody. I will say though, on the other side, we don't have news to share yet about Conquer. So Conquer has not been any more Conquer episodes have not been canceled yet. So that's separate. And also, Crossroads is something where we do still plan to provide some support for it. We just might not provide as much as we were previously.
So support as in like make sure that it functions, less so than developing new features or importing more content for it.
Well, I actually will say new features aren't out of the realm of possibilities, um, but they're a bit more unlikely, I'd say.
And I was gonna say, are you gonna remove the coming soon logos from the Champions Quest and the Crossroads if they're not any more plans of developing them, or is that
There shouldn't be any coming soon things in Crossroads. I think you're thinking of early on in beta. You had coming soon for choosing defend and other
Sure.
modes.
Yeah, I haven't touched it in such a long time.
Yeah, those were removed at launch. Those were kind of early ideas that never really panned out. But yeah, the coming soon for Champions Quest Episode 2 will be removed um, very shortly.
So, I guess further questions are champions going to be continue to be produced, or what about the champions we already have where their items are already locked behind having to level them?
We definitely have a lot that we are discussing in terms of now that Champions Quest isn't a focus, making it easier for you to unlock your champions items. That's a definite thing that we are discussing. It's something that we want to make easier for you guys. Um, we don't at this time plan on doing more champions because champions are very much tied with Champions Quest. So at this time, we don't plan on doing more champions.
And there was actually a thread on this on .com, and I believe Kill and Joke made a good point. It was maybe a follow-up of my point, but the crux of it was champions actually bring good value in the sense that they provide something that you can't get outside of champions, which is several pieces of similar armor.
Hmm.
You could argue that they're progressive armor, and your team has already seen the value of that because you made them for your own game. Um, is there any thought of having that available for future characters in Project Spark?
Oh yeah, sure. Like the idea behind champions, that stuff isn't dead. The idea of like having a pack centered around a character that might have a bunch of different armor types, that stuff is totally not dead. That stuff is very much interesting things that we're looking at. What is dead in terms of champions is a character adding more characters that you have to level up to unlock all their content.
And I presume like maybe less voice work or stuff like that as well, where that was like
Yeah,
mostly.
I haven't thought about that, but I would assume probably, yeah, you probably won't have voice acted characters that we'd be adding. But I'm not sure. That's something I hadn't really thought about. I don't think we've talked about yet.
And with the future characters, do you think there would be as much lore pushed into them as the champions did? Like, there'd be Codite chunks or Codian technology wrapping around them, that sort of thing.
Um, hmm. Well, the things that we're going to create are in our established universe. But I think what you'll start to see is a balance between things that fit within our universe and things that the community wants, like would really enjoy. So you're going to see you'll see more of that stuff.
Okay, as long as I don't have to like be pigeonholed into saying, hey, every character has to look like they were from Project Spark, meaning they have patches and swirls and uh, Codian runes on their chest plates, stuff like that. I mean, if it's not a Codian, I'm not sure. Seth, I can understand he kind of had, because he was a character in the Spark lore, made for Spark lore, but he's also a champ. He's also the only mage character we currently have, and he's forced to have the Codian technology on him, on his hat and on his shoulder pads. Okay, I think I've
Yeah,
nailed that pretty hard.
I I need to ask Henry about his lore backstory. He actually has a really interesting backstory. Like all of our champions do have really cool backstories. His is my favorite.
At first, I thought you said lower backstory. I'm like, what? He has a lower back pain?
No, lore. His lore is his backstory behind him is pretty interesting.
All right, so we've covered the new bundles to some degree, but you can find the text version of this either on .org or on .com. But basically, you can buy everything for $50, which is pretty amazing, except for Conquer, which is a separate $5 pack because it has a different rating. And then you also broke down, you removed all the old bundles because they were confusing as heck and required Meskat's Venn
Right.
diagram.
Except for two. So we have not yet removed. So the Champions bundle, we didn't remove that because you know we actually find players find kind of value of getting all the champions together in one bundle. So we
Sure.
haven't removed that one. That's just the bundle of it's just the four champions. It's not like Champions Quest Play or Champions Quest Create. Those have been removed. And
Okay.
then also the starter pack that's part of your retail disc has not yet been removed. That will eventually be removed from our marketplace, but we want to get some things set for that to make sure that it will indefinitely unlock for if you buy the retail disc, things like that. But yeah, the idea is we 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 realized after the fact that the way that we did our bundles was pretty confusing, and a lot of this was to make all of our bundles make like perfect sense for you. You have one bundle that gives you every single thing. You have one bundle that gives you every single thing that's fantasy related. You have one bundle that gives you every single thing that's sci-fi related. You have one bundle that gives you every single thing that's a builder pack, like Master World Builder, Epic Artist.
It's
And
infinite, you said.
then you have one thing in the middle that just has like our Spark sampler that just has like one of each area. So if you don't know what you want, but you just want a taste of what Project Spark has to offer, you can get that.
And the cool thing about the $50 pack, the all the things pack, it also comes with 3 months of premium and was it 10 upload slots or 20?
20 upload slots.
So that's actually now in line with the reward that the creators are getting.
Yeah, that is actually.
So that's actually an easier, more consistent dialogue at this point. Um, so we've gotten through a lot already. Uh,
Oh, right. The other thing to mention is first thing that we're doing is in these bundles is pre-orders.
yep, that
So
was the
we
next
have
topic.
yeah, so we have pre-orders in there for Biomusic, which releases tomorrow at noon, and Battle Stations, which releases on August 13th.
And I forgot if we talked about this last week. I don't think we did. Um, no, couldn't have. Uh, all these weeks start running together when you guys are when you're on 2 weeks in a row. Um,
Yeah.
so is this gonna be the beginning of seeing pre-order bundles and stuff like that? Or whether it be called series passes or if you were to release Spark Year 2 edition and have it include everything that's gonna be released between now and October of next year.
Right. Yeah, it definitely sets the stage for stuff like that. So we're not ready to talk about what bundles might be coming out after this. You guys kind of only know what's coming out from here till August.
Hmm.
But as we get closer or further along, I guess, then we'll reveal what other bundles there might be. Of course, what packs are coming out. I think I saw someone worry that there'd be no packs after battle stations. I can guarantee you there will be plenty of packs after battle stations. We're just not ready to announce them yet or what plans we have for them.
So out of curiosity, if you were to do a series pass or a season pass for the future, would you reveal the packs ahead of time, or would you say that it's just over this time period, whatever we release is what we release?
I think it really depends on that really depends on a lot of factors. I know it's a really vague answer to your question, but it depends on how ready we are with the information. But I think, I mean, if we did come up with a series bundle that would cover everything in that series that comes out, we would definitely be concrete with how many packs you'd be getting at least. So I think if we did something that gave you kind of a pre-order of a lot of stuff, we'd at least give you context behind that. We wouldn't say, get this one thing and you'll get everything that happens in the next year. We won't tell you what happens in the next year, but you'll get it. So, yeah, we'd probably want to give you more context than that.
And so the next question I believe was moving into um, it vaguely hinted at the fact, well, it didn't vaguely, but it suggested that removing Champions Quest was a way to start working on more things. When do you think we're going to start hearing more details about what we gained by removing Champions Quest?
Um, well, I mean, there's a lot of like incremental, like smaller, littler things that you'll definitely be hearing about. Bigger things, I'm really not sure. I mean, we have lots planned. We're obviously the team is really hard at work on lots of amazing, like I'm serious about this, amazing things. Um, and I don't, but I have no idea when we're ready. I can't give you any time frame even of when we would be ready to announce that stuff. But there was a reason why we canceled Champions Quest and focus on time or on other things. And I think you guys will really I think people will really like what we're working on. The
So
things that
so far we've had several community requested things taken out, which were the um, first the camera zooming, where it no
hmm
longer swirls when it zooms. Oh, goes when you select a prop or go into properties. Then there was the editing or deleting text variables, or
Yep. So just deleting's in there now.
and
Uh,
editing is coming soon.
yep.
And so, what's the next thing that's on the docket? Is there anything coming in the next update?
Yeah. Title update 15 coming out. Oh, title update 15 is coming out
August 5th?
on August 11th, Tuesday, August 11th. So why don't I actually say what's going to come in it?
Yeah, you can.
Um, okay, so I'm happy to announce two things that people have asked. These are small things, but two like things that the community's been asking about is so editing variables that will be pretty much complete with title update 15. So you'll be able to edit your variables. And then additionally, the next big thing we've gotten lots of feedback on is the fact that we have our autosaves happen too often. And we've come to agree with that. And so also starting with title update 15, autosaves currently in Project Spark happen every 3 minutes. With title update 15, they will now only happen every 15 minutes. And then we're looking to do even more with autosaves to make that less intrusive on your creative experience.
Do more of it like as in being able to turn it off and like altogether, or be able to have like a slider bar for how often it is saved, or what do you mean by further development towards that?
Giving you options to set it how you want. I'm not yet sure which of those we would go for. Something where you can a slider for time or toggling on and off, but giving you an option to give you more flexibility on how intrusive you want autosaves to be on your experience. But with Title Update 15, basically they will happen 5 times less. One of the big reasons for that is we have made we've made some really good strides with the amount of crashes that happen in Project Spark, meaning that it's Project Spark has gotten to a stable point crash wise, and so we feel really confident in reducing the amount of autosaves uh, and that not poorly or negatively impacting your editing and creation experience.
Yeah, that sounds like a good plan to attack because I know for Xbox One users that was a little bit of a pain.
Yeah, I mean, I'm working on huge levels, and like every time autosave happens, it t can take 30 seconds. So that will only happen a fraction of the time compared to what happens now.
So the fact that you're telling us this much about it and that it's already pegged for TU15 leads me to believe it's pretty much almost done. At least the first iteration of it.
Yep, it's done. Yeah, when we work on our updates, we work on them pretty far in advance. So we're already with every one of our updates, we have to submit them through the certification process, and there's a lot of testing and quality assurance that goes into something like Project Spark, which is it's a Microsoft produced title, and so there's a lot we have to make sure that doesn't break for you or crash your system or so. We actually usually finish up this work pretty early on and then do lots of testing on it before we ship it out to you. So yeah, this stuff's pretty much locked down.
So what's the next thing on like the top list from the community requests?
We have actually, I think the next is we have a few different things tied with each other. Some of them are huge, some of them are small. Um, I'm not sure what we're going to tackle next, though. We're definitely going for hitting on the list of community requests, and so you will see more of that stuff. One thing I know we are working on is where we are working on um, making basically making uh, the default properties of materials, like in terms of their friction, density, bounciness, all that stuff, actually go in line more with the real world item so that you just place it immediately in your world and all the default properties fit with it better. So, dirt will actually be something that that is a bit harder to slide through, while ice is something that you slip around in a bit more. So that's something that we're toying around with right now. I'm not sure when that's going to get in, because obviously something like that is going to take a lot of testing to make sure that we get that right and it doesn't break um, anything that people currently are working on.
That sounds like a lot of retroactive stuff through a bunch of levels. Like if all of our Arctic biome suddenly, if someone had a
Like
platform.
something becomes like an ice hockey rink.
Right.
Yeah, yeah. So it's not going to be too severe stuff. We're really focused on default properties of things to like make it feel more natural. But if you changed any properties yourself, then those wouldn't be overridden by your default properties. So that's just something that I know the team's working on. It's in its early stages though, to make sure that like we're making these changes to make things feel more realistic in the world, but it's also not gonna really mess with what you guys have created.
And so we already have that. Uh, there was a there's been a lot of activity in the forums recently about ratings and that things just aren't working out the way that people would hope they were. Like the functionality of ratings are twofold, in that they're one, recommendations for other people, and two, a voice of your opinion about the level, and even the third one would be feedback to the creator.
Hmm.
Is there any work being done or even considered towards the rating system?
Yeah, there is. I don't think we're ready to really talk about what we have planned, but that's definitely an area of focus for us as well. Um, Timeline can't give you that either, but it is definitely a plan of focus of ours to do some things there. We have a good idea of some things that will improve ratings that we are going to be working on.
Sounds good. As long as we can get some sort of feedback in there, like whether it be text-based or some combination of text-based and selection of pre-existing things like wasn't fun or was fun for people to choose from, whether they upvote or downvote.
Hmm.
So the
Yep.
next, if you have anything, do you have anything else to say about that?
No,
Okay.
just I agree.
Okay. I just didn't want to cut you off. The next thing on the list is the Music Biome Pack, which comes out tomorrow.
Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty much locked away.
We
So that would
haven't
well,
heard a whole lot about that because we've been focused on like battle stations and other
oh
things.
yeah, that's true. Well, we actually put out a blog post today about it. So that gives you all the details you need to know about it. We will also during tomorrow's stream, we'll just have the music on in the background from the pack. You'll be able to We have a video we posted on YouTube which gives you about a 15 to 20-second preview of all the songs, but if you want to listen to them the full way through before purchasing them, then you can tune into our live stream tomorrow where we will have those kind of in the back burner while we're working on stuff with battle stations.
The Arabian music in I think we talked about this last week, didn't we?
I forget. I think that was you were like sort of a fan of the Arabian stuff, not so much the other stuff.
The
If I
Arabian and the Woodlands were fine. The other two I was less enthralled by.
Okay.
But I guess some people will find a lot of use for the music notes and stuff like that when they what was it, Music Maker from the second game jam would have really benefited
Yeah.
from these.
I know, yeah. That's it's like it's we kind of had Music Maker in mind when we were coming up through the notes. We looked just at sheet music and said, okay, how many icons do we need to get through to give you sheet music? And it was, I think, 16 of our 19 icons are or 15 of our 19 icons are for sheet music. The others are like a microphone, uh,
So the speakers, yeah.
speaker, waveform, and one other thing.
And going back to the lore topic, when is the next Sparkisode?
Next SparkCastEpisode is coming out right after Battle Stations comes out. So we'll make an announcement of the exact date of its premiere, but it should be right around the time of Battle Stations, and it will be based around the Battle Stations pack. And I think you guys are gonna really enjoy what we're building in this one. It's even crazier than the last one,
As
like
long
by
as it
far.
has wandering gas bags, the way they were wandering bushes the first one.
Yeah, that could be a fun thing to add in there. But
Just
there's
have that go with each of the episodes, whether it be a wandering boulder or wandering iceberg or a wandering tree or whatever.
hmm
Just have some inanimate objects that are actually living, and have nobody care about them. That's the whole thing.
hmm
That'd be a nice bridge through the whole series, I think. Because they had the
It
goblin
could be.
voices, right? With the first bushes.
Those were actually the Teddy's voices.
Oh, were they? Okay.
Yeah.
So with battle stations, is was there anything new to cover this week?
This week we the best stuff.
W- So the first week had the helmet, which was a prop in and of itself that you found out after the stream makes an awesome knight helmet.
Well, actually, that was just well, yeah, we did show it off, but last week was when I realized, oh, it's actually a prop.
Oh, you didn't know yourself.
Yeah,
Oh,
I forgot about that. Yeah.
and you also showed off uh, the Covier, the Dark
hmm
Codian,
Yeah. So we shown off the Space Marine, the Covier.
the
We shown
bunker,
off the bunker, and that's all. And I think that's all we pretty much showed off.
and there's still an
Tomorrow
entire stream worth of stuff to go through tomorrow.
there's two, but tomorrow's the best.
Okay. And tomorrow's stream will be at what time, what channel?
3 p.m.
Pacific?
Pacific time on the regular Project Spark channel. So just twitch.tv/underscore slash
Got it.
projects underscore spark.
Underscores, too many underscores. No.
Yeah, I know.
Slash project underscore spark. There you go. Um, so with the first creation stream, you were trying to make a hangar uh, for the tanks, and
hmm
then you got the bunker props, which were pretty much better than the previous props for such a purpose. Are you rebuilding the whole hangar from scratch?
No, we're gonna keep a bit of the foundation we made, but yeah, there's quite a few things we're gonna add the bunker props onto. I mean, the Sparkisode building the scenes is an iterative process. I'm actually pretty excited for not this week, but next week. I think we'll focus the whole stream on creating the first few shots of the Sparkisode, so you can actually see. And this is actually a great thing to watch for creating like intro cinematics. You'll actually get to see how we and our artists put together kind of like the opening shot of something like Sparkisode, because Sparkisode 2 opens up with a really complicated opening shot. So I thought it'd be great to just focus on that and show you like all kind of the steps you go through to put together a shot like that.
I remember when Bob and I were looking to make the Conqueror's Defense level, our initial thought was to have a spark run around and create the things. Um, but we didn't off the top of our head know like how you guys did the spark creates whatever.
Well, I know because I built that for the Conquer teaser trailer. You know, when the spark kind of goes around and builds all that stuff. Me and Rusty from our team were the two that built that, and it's actually pretty simple. We created this pop-in brain that basically we ended up so like there's a few ways to do that. You could just detect for when you're close to this object and then it creates. But what we actually did is to make it just perfect, is we actually went through every single item that was going to be created by the Spark and specifically set within that item at exactly how many of a countdown timer and frames it would be created in. So we start the creation process, and then after 15 frames, this is created, and after 25 frames, that's created, and so on and so forth. And that is what gave us variety, because we originally had it so that just as soon as something detected the spark, it was created, but it looked actually too uniform. and not as interesting. So we actually made it so that things popped in kind of differently, where you might have something pop in there and something pop in from the beginning of the scene, and that helped make it a bit more dynamic looking.
Yeah, I can imagine that being a little too wave, like at a baseball park where all the fans just stand up in a rhythm.
Yeah, exactly. And when you get it to that point, then your eyes can't really focus on that much. When it's more distinct stuff dropping in and popping up, then like it looks more alive, and you're able to actually discern all the different stuff that's really coming up.
And Mabel has a question about Sparkisodes. Melvin, is he Spark itself, or is he just a Spark?
He is a Spark. He's not Spark itself. There are more than one Spark in the universe. I think we established that with Champions Quest episode one. But there are more than one Spark in the universe, and Melvin is one of them. He's not really that great of a Spark though, because he Sparks are like one of the great things about Sparks is they can just teleport through space wherever they just come up whenever they want to. And Melvin is not really great at that. He's very bad at. I mean, you saw that in the first Spark episode is Davin telling Melvin, "Okay, take me to a castle," and then Melvin takes him nowhere. So he's a very not great Spark.
So he's the Butchie of Sparks.
Yeah, he's not the brightest Spark in the lot, I'd say. Yeah, he's the Patrick of SpongeBob, I guess you could say that. Although I would say Davin's kind of like the Patrick of SpongeBob in a way too.
All right, and what else was there to talk about? So last Friday's stream was canceled, and I presume there is going to be a stream this Friday covering UGC.
Yes, there is. We have a lot of great stuff to cover. Um, yeah, there's some really cool creations. And also, man, the spaceships people have been making. Every single week you guys make our job really hard to choose the best thing.
I haven't even
Um,
looked at them because I'm just like, they're going to be better than mine. Why bother looking?
yeah, they're amazing. There's just some that are out of this world. Like I really, really want to see games made about some of them, actually, made with some of them in them.
Well, speaking of great things that are created, Zgloug, he made Into the Forest or Find the
Or is
Forest.
it, yeah.
And so, how's his progress going with creating his own prop?
Oh, yeah. I guess we haven't really talked about that much. It's going really well. He came up with with an awesome idea for a prop. I'll let him. I mean, it's up to him if he wants to share it with the public or what he wants to do with it. But we figured out a solution to it because it was very different than what we were expecting. So we had to go back and forth and to figure out a solution. But I think we have one. So we're moving into the concepting phase of it. You guys can see kind of you can also see kind of the process of creating props. And spoiler alert, it takes time. So we're moving into the concepting phase, which will take at least a few weeks. Obviously it's not our team spends the entire few weeks just on this one prop, but it gets slotted in with all the other stuff they're working on. So that phase will take a few weeks, and then it moves on to from there the actual sculpting and modeling part of it. Then from there, applying all the textures to it, and then applying all the physics to it, and like all of the like the proper mapping to it. Then you have the design team then adds kind of all the default properties to it and kind of brings it all together, and you guys will kind of see some of that process.
It'd be cool if we could actually get the behind the scenes on that as well, like you guys were documenting it.
Yeah, we are. And I think we do want to share kind of the process of it. Probably, I mean, probably when we release it, we'll talk through the process of it and sort of like Zgloug actually is awesome. He spent a lot of time making up his own design documents on how this prop would look like, how it would function, even going so far as to show the color channels, what it looked like in different states. It was really in depth, so it was really cool stuff.
See, now I'm really curious. Like, Was this the first prop he proposed, or did he have other ideas that were rejected because they were too complicated?
He had two ideas, and the one that we accepted, and this was his top idea. And at first we were like, I don't think we can do that. And then we said, well, we can do that if we do this and this and change this around. And he said, yeah, that sounds interesting. His second one we could do no problem, but he really liked our solution we had for his first idea. So yeah, we're gonna go with that.
So we're gonna have the interesting one when it's
Yes.
produced.
You're gonna have the you're gonna have the really interesting one. It is unlike like you know how someone asked him, so what do you choose? And he said, I don't think it has a name. It doesn't have a name, but it's a very useful thing. And it's I'll leave it up to him however much he wants to share about it. And maybe he might not want to share too much about it until he knows exactly what we're building for him. But it's completely up to him.
And is this something that you would envision using in your own worlds, or is it just something abstract that'll be useful in like very few cases?
Hmm. It is something that I think the more I already see a few uses for it, but it's something that the more I think about it, the more and more uses come out of it. It is something where you'll say what at first, but then the more you think about it and the more you kind of play around with the idea, you'll realize how kind of genius it is.
Well, I guess that's most Spark levels in a nutshell anyway.
That's true. Yeah.
On the surface, you might not appreciate exactly what it is, and then you go delve into the nuts and bolts and be like, oh, I wouldn't know how to do that anyway. And so now Thomas is back. Is he gonna be the one that hops in to do the tutorial on Tuesday?
Next Tuesday? Yeah, I'm not actually sure what we have planned for next Tuesday's tutorial stream, but something that has to do with teaching people stuff about things. Oh, right. Yeah, that reminds me. We actually, people asked us to post the level from yesterday's stream, like the level that I actually worked on. So that's out there now. Um, it's just saved as, I think it's saved as, it's shared as inventory viewer by Spark Brian. So if for everyone who's been following along with the inventory tutorials, you can actually take all that code that was worked on over those 3 tutorials and use it yourself.
And that's like the final version of the inventory, or are you going back to that and have a post-trilogy additional
The
inventory?
prequels,
Oh no! Yeah. Inventory episode 1. You have an annoying little kid in it.
yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, the first one I showed was called Inventory Episode 4. So.
Well played, sir. Well played. Seriously, do you have anything else that you would like to add to inventory, or are you set for a while?
I think I gave enough of a baseline, but there's obviously so much more that can be done with it. Like the hardest thing was coming up with an inventory system that like felt really nice, but also could be applied to a lot of different situations. And so there's so many things you have to keep into consideration when you're building this inventory. So I feel like I might go back to it someday and iterate on it when someone has specific questions about, what about an inventory in this instance or that instance where an inventory might work totally differently. So it could be a thing that we come back to. But I'm pretty satisfied with at least like having those 3 tutorials and what we have in that world of being the baseline for making a nice, cohesive, fully put together inventory.
So, Something Stirs wants to know more about your big project that you're working on.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's actually so as you all know, I was in the Project Spark community up until November of last year. And so Project Spark was first announced E3 2013. And that was, I mean, it immediately took me by hold. It was something that I immediately was like, I need to make stuff in this. And so right after that, it was about 6 months after until I could finally get into the beta. So for those 6 months, I fleshed out my idea for this game, like a full game inside of Project Spark, and I knew it would take me a while to get to it. So for basically the first 6 months in Project Spark, I built other stuff and didn't even touch anything related to this game. And so now I've finally been tackling it slowly. Obviously, There's not as much time in the day when I'm spending uh, a lot of time during the day working on my other Spark account and all the other stuff going on in Project Spark. But as much as I can during my free time, I'm building out the levels for this. It is, I mean, it is an adventure game. Um, it's uh, it's probably going to be it's like in the vein of what Moose is like quintessentially doesn't like because it is a third person adventure. But I'm really focusing on the story behind it, and it's just making this hilarious, comical, funny thing, making the mechanics also feel like spot on, really great, and making very interesting enemies, really well put together areas that you go to. I'm going for kind of a open world vibe with some nice platforming as well as combat throughout.
So when do you think it's gonna be finished so I can downvote it?
A long time. Not even this year. It definitely won't be this year. It's not going to be out for a long time.
Was it further delayed after you saw how awesome Defco's level looked and you had to put light bulbs everywhere now and change the terrain textures, everything?
No, it's I mean that was pretty amazing what he was doing with everything. I know I can never get that level of design in my stuff, but there's just I mean it's like I want to end up making a 10 to 20 hour long experience. So it's a lot of stuff to do.
Well, speaking of projects that took a long time, Infrared is finally going to be releasing Rex soon.
Ooh, wow. That's awesome.
So
Because Rex is awesome.
you get to feature that whenever that releases. It was impressive
Yeah,
like 8 months ago, and it's still impressive today.
I know. It really is. Oh, good question from Something Stirs, I guess. Yeah, we don't need approval to release our stuff on our personal accounts. So, I've released quite a few games since I've been here, and you don't need approval for that. There's actually there is one Project Spark team member who was featured, like their level is good enough that it was featured, I think like 2, 3 months ago. Um,
Really, that recently? Or you were
mhm.
thinking of different people?
Yep. Nope. It is. It's yeah. It was pretty recently. It was Carl's Nora's side quest. I don't know if you ever played that one.
Mm-mm. I
Yeah,
remember, wasn't Henry featured by accident one time? Not knowing that was Henry?
not by accident. He like after he saw that he's featured, he said, "No, no, 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 don't feature me. Feature the creators, the better people." And we are like, "But you made a great thing."
And he's like, fine, I won't make it anymore.
Yeah.
Was there any other topics that you wanted to cover this week before I delve into the usual spiel at the end?
Um. No, I feel like we've offloaded a lot of news on you guys. Oh, right. I guess we should talk about the fact that Windows 10 launched today.
Oh yeah,
And
was that today?
yeah, yeah. So Windows 10 launched today, and we're already seeing a lot of Windows 10 people come in and start enjoying Project Spark. So that was that was part of the reason for why we wanted to get out all these deals now in advance of Windows 10. And just in general, we have been planning these marketplace updates for a while, so we are happy to finally get them out.
Yeah, I was gonna ask if they were related, but I thought it was like too obvious that they were related to Windows
Yeah,
10.
yeah, they definitely were related. It's we definitely wanted to get them in before Windows 10 because um, we wanted to have deals and things that made sense. So that, for new people, they make a lot of sense to you. And then that's also where the core creator gift came out of is. So for all those people who aren't new and have been around for a while, they should get some benefit too.
And Venom had a good suggestion about having a character named Moose who did nothing but complain about the adventure in your level.
Yeah, that would be pretty fun. Some guy who's just like I'm just picturing the characters from Mystery Science Theater, like always just sitting in the audience, like, "What are you doing? This is stupid. You're not funny."
See, that'd be great, for a SparkCastEpisode as well.
Oh, that's what I was thinking.
Oh, I think he was talking about your level because it was a 3D action adventure game.
Oh, I see.
But
Oh,
for a SparkCastEpisode,
I was thinking in terms of Sparkisode.
yeah, I'd just be some guy like out in the distance. This sucks.
Yeah.
Anyway, All right, so the final thing I'm going to say before we cut it off is the Spark store at project-spark.org expanded a bit. We have two new designs. One was actually designed by Funk, the creator of Beeb and Bob. Was it Vanishing in Sector 13? 17?
Mm-hmm.
One of those.
Yeah.
It was a really great point and click adventure game. It
Really great.
looked amazing too. Uh,
Yeah. One of the best designed levels I played in Project Spark.
if it was up, like he was very high up in my top 10. If I was to be, if I was the only person that was judging that competition, he probably would have been in the top five, maybe in the top two, just because it was. I haven't seen anyone do that impressive of a job. Anyway, so he made an avatar for Kraken, one of the project.org, projectsport.org,
Of yeah, the tentacle wrapped around the squirrel. That was awesome.
and then in order to make it more Project Spark themed, he colored the tentacle purple, so it's voidish, and we added that to shirts.
That's awesome.
And also, Fred made a design where Conker had chopped down the Project Spark tree, and
Oh, cool. I haven't seen that one yet, actually.
so we added that to shirts as well. And we also added a bunch of coffee mugs and thermal mugs, using the most popular of the designs so far. I believe the coffee mugs are in the range of like $15 or $18, depending if they're coffee or thermal.
Cool. Oh, question about DX12 benefits for Xbox. We're not working on DX12 implementation at this time. Not to say we won't work on it in the future for Project Spark.
I'll leave the link to the Project Spark store in the description in YouTube, or you could just head over to .org and press the Spark Shop button up the top bar, the big blue bar. All right, so we've covered tomorrow. You're going to be doing the stream that covers the beginning of the video, as well as some new cool stuff for battle stations. And
Mm-hmm.
Friday, more UGC review. Is there going to be a guest on Friday?
Not sure yet. Um, but seriously, tomorrow's stream, I'm not kidding. It has the best stuff. The best stuff in battle stations is yet to be revealed, and we will reveal it tomorrow.
Why did you wait for the second week of it? Why not do that the first week? Was it not
Third,
ready?
it's actually well, this is the third week.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
No, it's because you gotta save. You gotta like you have a process. You start with something awesome. You then have something pretty great. You then have the best thing, and then you end with like a final like mic drop little thing.
Is this the mic drop or is this the thing
This is
before
the
the?
best thing. Then there's like one little mic drop, but this is the best thing. So like everything's great, but this is the best thing. But then you have the mic drop.
All right. So on that note, I'm gonna drop the mic. Ha, not really. I don't have any mic drop moments, but I'll see you guys next week at the same time, same channel, and I believe probably Thomas is going to join us next week. I'm going to presume.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so thanks, Brian, for joining us. Thanks to all the community for watching and participating in chat. And we will see you guys around.
Yeah. And seriously, tomorrow we have an entire stream on weapons. Just saying.
Okay, so there you go, weapons. That's the spoiler. And I'm going to go ahead and click stop recording now. So what's the pack after battle stations?
That would be the SparkEpisodes pack, brought to you by Red Bull.
It gives you wings.
Oh no, that was a whatever. That was like a bad Destiny joke.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't potentially like. If my brother was here, he would have gotten the joke, but I haven't actually played a second of Destiny. But he's an
Oh,
addict. All right, so he didn't fall for it, guys. Sorry, I tried. All right, catch you guys next week.
sorry.